The connections are coming to me so fast, and it always begins to happen like this when I try to share this information with you guys. I do learn more and more and more. I continually understand higher and higher and higher reflections. And in turn, I'm continually amazed to see that my drawings actually keep the pace and will support the higher understandings of the information as they join into the flow of information as it travels towards the perfection of truth. In short, guys, I'm blown away, but I don't want to always sound like I just try to sound like I'm overhyping everything. You decide for yourself and see how this stuff begins to come together, even with Sandy Hook, even with things that I've already uploaded over a year and a half ago. Just watch all this come together, and it's going to come right on back to the witch's hat in a unique way. We saw about this chapter 13 of the breaking forth of children as it related to my drawing, and then from their perspective of achieving the crown chakra, which is also symbolized not only as the piercing rod, the luminous rod, but also this lotus flower. And I told you, I kind of went out on a limb by connecting it with my drawing and saying that they're going to achieve this by, committing the sacrifice known as the second cup. And with scriptures that you can see, it looks like, okay, I could be on track. Well, it's exactly what's happening. And let me show you one more thing. We'll go back to chapter 4. We get our next clue. And it's going to be chapter 4, verse 2. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. This is the perspective of how they're going to achieve this breakings of the previous few pages we just looked at, and how it connected my drawing. And I told you that they were going to commit a violent act of this killing, and that it is connected to the supposed birthing, which is being committed with this whore, which would be symbolized with Ishtar. And this blood that toucheth blood is the second cup. It's this blood sacrifice. There's a lot more that we could go into, and we could go off in a whole different direction to connect this to multiple things we've already talked about before. But what I'm interested in is to show you this connection with breakings. And this is where we'll get connected back to Sandy Hook, which is also symbolized as a sacrifice of children. Whether that actually took place or not, we know that that's what they're trying to convey. And if you saw the videos that I did about it, you'll know that we made some amazing connections with the hook. And it was all about Leviathan, in which I said that they're doing the sacrifice to achieve their godhood, but also to loose the seal, which in effect allows these locusts to appear in our world, who after them comes the beast out of the earth, which would be the fallen prince, as he's able to manifest into a material body, that carbon body, the shadow. Hence being his number being the number of a man, 666, the carbon atom. Okay. Well, we're in Job 41. I've told you that it was going to be this sacrifice that they were going to commit to bring this being about. We're describing it as the rising Kundalini serpent. Well, this rising Kundalini serpent is actually called by Isaiah Leviathan. And then here we have Leviathan, which is being asked in the very first line, who can draw him out with an hook? With an hook. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I want to show you something to keep you interested here to kind of get you to see how these connections are gonna just show up by the Spirit in an incredible way as we move forward. This is just the beginning. I want you to notice his nose, this Assyrian, and know that that is a hooked nose. It's the common term, that's the common expression. And not only is it a hooked nose, it's an extremely hooked nose. This symbol, you're going to see it again in multiple places, but in a way that I never even tried to do. And it can be proven by watching the earlier videos when I talked about it. I had no idea. And then this drawing out Leviathan with an hook, I've got an incredible greater understanding about all this that I just can't even go into, because it's going to just take a whole nother video series. So to keep us on track, I want you to see that we're going to connect this breakings right here in Job chapter 41 to the exact same thing that I'm telling you that this ritual sacrifice is to do, is to achieve the rising, eventually the rising of the Antichrist. Because immediately before the Antichrist, the Bible gives us a term of 5 months. For 5 months, the locusts are going to have this power, and then actually they're preparing the way for the arrival of the Antichrist. So we have the locusts that appear sometime after the second cup, the destruction. Revelation 9 says they emerge out of the smoke. So I would imagine it would not be too long after, probably months, I would say. And then after the locust, then we have the AC. So that ritual sacrifice basically kills 2 birds with 1 stone for them. And then, ironically enough, it's called a millstone. And then to say the word irony connects us up to the iron, which is this army of Orion. And of course it's the irony, because they have almost encoded their information double into everything, which is what creates the absolute irony of all this. Unreal. Okay, so the hook. Who can draw them out? You saw Sandy Hook was described, the Sandy Hook supposed killing, as a ritual sacrifice. Okay, raising the fear vibration. Here's the proof that that's what they're talking about. Verse 25. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reasons of breakings, they purify themselves. Exactly what the breakings are for, in connection to the raising of this Leviathan, okay, the feathered serpent, Kukulkan, Quetzalcoatl, okay. Inky is also known as, if I remember correctly, it should be the Nehesh, which also means serpent, the wise serpent. By reasons of breakings,